Yeah, that's exactly right, Joe. And I remember when Steve Scalise was shot and waking up and seeing that on the news and the sick feeling that I had in my stomach. And one of the first things that we saw after that was Nancy Pelosi coming forward and saying, we do not stand for this. We stand with Steve Scalise, whatever he needs, we must, and then she went into passing stronger gun control measures. But her coming out there and making that statement, really, not that there was a partisan divide at the time because we were living in a different era, but it really did, help sort of heal, at least, bring together Washington. I know Mitch McConnell put out a tweet. I know, Kevin McCarthy said something. But, these guys should have done a press conference and said enough is enough.
With their Democratic counterparts.
Exactly.
Like Nancy Pelosi did.
Exactly. A class act. That is what we needed at this time to really heal from some of these fractured moments that we're having, some of these really dangerous moments.
Do we want this to get worse?
Exactly. And why they didn't come together and say, let's do a press conference with our Democratic, leadership on this. I mean, it's just a shame because that was grotesque. A moment that was lost.
Donnie, it's grotesque.
Yeah, and Joe, I know you weren't giving a campaign speech, but I hope some people are listening because there are ways, the big four, the crime, abortion, democracy, and the economy, there are ways to talk about all of them at the same time. I mean, you just brought in crime. And basically, if you're either for the police, you're against the police. If you're for the police, you want to vote for the Democrats. There's a way to talk about the economy. There are two jobs for every person looking for a job right now. There's a way to talk about choice for abortion, protect your body. There's a way to talk about these issues that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. And you can flip any single issue. And what was really interesting and exciting to watch was yesterday Josh Shapiro and today Tim Ryan. There are Democrats out there doing it. You can walk and chew gum and walk and chew gum and talk about all four of those issues.
Willie, there's two strong performances. Tim and Josh Shapiro yesterday, two really strong Democratic performances.
Yeah, who are running really well, especially Shapiro. It looks likely at this point, though, take nothing for granted among Democrats right now, that he will be the governor of Pennsylvania. We're going to hear from Wes Moore of Maryland, talking to Dr. Dave a little bit later on our show. 3 Democrats who are doing that. It is extraordinary, though, Jonathan, that we have to sit here and say it is bad that Paul Pelosi was hit over the head with a hammer, that Republicans can't bring themselves to say that thing out loud because they're so worried about what Donald Trump might think of them, whether you're Ted Cruz or Don Jr. is in a class by himself. But these are elected officials who can't bring themselves to just say the obvious, that a man being hit over the head with a hammer is bad, but it all goes back to what we were talking about, which is that if you cross Donald Trump, if you cross the base, you find yourself in trouble. It doesn't take a lot of courage to say that that was a bad thing, but they can't do it.
Yeah, and in the aftermath of the Scalise shooting, it wasn't just Nancy Pelosi who spoke out against it. Bernie Sanders did. And that's important because the suspect was a Bernie Sanders supporter, had been a volunteer for Sanders. And Sanders immediately said, this is not who we are. We cannot stand for this.
Went to the floor of the Senate.
Went to the floor of the Senate, just emotionally spoke about this. And we're not hearing this now. This is a trend that is begun with Trump, where we have seen time and again the refusal to condemn any piece of his base, even for the most heinous or horrible thoughts or beliefs or acts, because he might need their vote someday. That's why Donald Trump was slow to disavow white supremacists during the campaign trail. He's been slow to disavow the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. He wouldn't do that. He has been slow to disavow QAnon. He wouldn't do that. In fact, now he's embracing them because, as he has told people when asked about this before, well, they vote too. They're my supporters. And he is inherently loyal to his base. He will not alienate his base. And other Republicans take their cue from Trump, and they will not denounce even the most hateful and heinous acts or beliefs.
Gene, what's so fascinating is they think they're being clever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every statement about Paul Pelosi is qualified. Glenn Youngkin. Oh, yeah, it's kind of bad, yeah. But we're going to send Nancy Pelosi home to be with her husband, who just had his brains battered in San Francisco. But, and then you have J.D. Vance going, yeah, of course it's bad. Of course but
Ted Cruz.
It's the fault of the Canadians who on work visas, who overstayed their work visas. That's what's causing chaos in America. Everyone has a qualified statement, and there are even a few, like Kari Lake, who just out and out joke about an 82-year-old man getting his brains bashed in as a result of political violence spread by Donald Trump, not random crime in San Francisco, as these Republicans lie about all the time. Nothing random about this crime. Nothing apolitical about this crime. This guy was a Trumper. He was a MAGA guy. Look at what he was writing before the attack. I mean, you can go back 28 years or 5 years or whatever you want. No, that's not what police do. They don't go, all right, well, Matlock, come here. Matlock, what happened back in 1983 because we had the murder last night? What was he saying in 19... No! What was he saying before the crime? What was he saying before he got the hammer and bash? He was saying the bullshit that Donald Trump wanted him to say. The lies about stolen election. Saying that members of the press should be taken out in the street and shot if they don't spread Donald Trump's lies about a stolen election. This is easy. It's easy, but Republicans can't do the easy thing. They can't do the right thing. Everything is always qualified because politically their soul is barren.